Hey, have you ever wondered what really happens inside your body when you smoke or drink? Most people think it's harmless, just a little fun, just a weekend thing. But what if I told you that every puff, every sip is quietly stealing your energy, your strength, and even years off your life? Stay with me because what I'm about to show you will change the way you think about these habits forever.
Cigarettes and alcohol are rarely seen as immediate threats because they don't cause instant pain or dramatic reactions after the first use. That is exactly what makes them so dangerous. They work slowly, quietly, and patiently, slipping into daily routines and becoming normal parts of life. At first, everything feels fine. You wake up, go to work, laugh with friends, and nothing seems wrong. The body is incredibly good at adapting, so it keeps functioning even while damage is happening beneath the surface. This creates the illusion that these habits are harmless, but in reality, every cigarette smoked and every drink consumed is pushing the body a little further away from balance and health. The damage begins at a cellular level where you cannot see it and cannot feel it. Cigarette smoke reduces the amount of oxygen your blood can carry, forcing the heart to work harder just to keep you alive. Alcohol disrupts normal metabolism, placing stress on the liver and brain, even in small amounts. Over time, this constant stress wears the body down. Energy levels slowly drop, but people often blame age or work pressure. Sleep becomes lighter and less refreshing, but it is blamed on stress. Focus and motivation decline, but it is blamed on lifestyle. The real cause remains hidden because the decline is gradual, not sudden. What makes this process even more dangerous is how it steals years of life without announcing itself. There is no alarm that goes off to warn you that your arteries are narrowing, your lungs are losing elasticity, or your liver is becoming overloaded. The body keeps compensating until it can no longer do so. That is when people are suddenly faced with serious diagnoses like heart disease, stroke, liver damage, or cancer, often feeling shocked because they felt fine for years. By the time symptoms appear, the damage is no longer small or easily reversible. Cigarettes and alcohol also take away quality of life long before they take away life itself. The constant tiredness, reduced stamina, frequent illnesses, and emotional instability slowly become part of daily living. Activities that once felt easy start to feel exhausting. Confidence drops as the body feels weaker and less reliable. Relationships can suffer as mood swings, irritability, and low energy become more common. Yet many people do not connect these changes to their habits because the effects did not appear overnight. The most tragic part is that this slow destruction often feels normal until it is removed. Many people only realize how much energy, clarity, and strength they lost after they stop smoking or drinking. When the body finally gets a chance to heal, they are surprised by how different life can feel. This shows that the harm was never imaginary, it was simply silent, building day by day, quietly taking health and time without ever asking permission. Smoking affects far more than just the lungs, even though breathing problems are often the most visible sign. From the very first cigarette, chemicals enter the bloodstream and begin traveling to every major organ in the body. The lungs are the first point of contact, where hot, toxic smoke damages the delicate airways and tiny air sacs responsible for oxygen exchange. Over time, these structures lose their flexibility and efficiency, making it harder to breathe deeply or feel fully energized. A persistent cough, shortness of breath during simple activities, and chest tightness become common, especially as the damage continues quietly in the background. The heart is placed under constant strain by smoking. Nicotine causes blood vessels to narrow, forcing the heart to pump harder to push blood through the body. At the same time, carbon monoxide reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood, meaning the heart must work even more to meet the body's needs. This combination significantly increases the risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. What makes this especially alarming is that these effects are not limited to older individuals. Young smokers often develop early signs of cardiovascular disease without realizing it, believing they are protected by their age. The brain is also deeply affected by smoking, both chemically and structurally. Nicotine creates a temporary sense of pleasure and relaxation by triggering the release of dopamine, but this effect is short-lived. As dependence develops, the brain begins to rely on nicotine to feel normal. This leads to increased anxiety, irritability, and difficulty concentrating when nicotine levels drop. Over time, memory, focus, and emotional stability can suffer, even though the smoker may believe cigarettes are helping them manage stress. One of the most overlooked consequences of smoking is its impact on sexual and reproductive health. Smoking damages blood vessels, reducing healthy blood flow throughout the body. In men, this often results in erectile dysfunction and reduced performance, sometimes at a surprisingly young age. In women, smoking can disrupt hormonal balance, affect fertility, and increase the risk of complications during pregnancy. These changes are deeply personal and often emotionally distressing, yet they are rarely discussed openly. What makes all of this even more serious is the misconception that light or occasional smoking is safe. There is no safe level of smoking because the body reacts negatively to every exposure. Each cigarette contributes to cumulative damage, increasing the risk of cancer, heart disease, and long-term disability. Even smoking a few cigarettes a day can have measurable effects on blood vessels and lung function. The body does not reset between cigarettes. The damage adds up over time, quietly shaping health outcomes long before visible illness appears.
Alcohol is often misunderstood because it is so deeply woven into social life and relaxation rituals. Many people see it as a harmless way to unwind, celebrate, or escape stress. But biologically, the body does not treat alcohol as a comfort. The moment alcohol enters the bloodstream, it is recognized as a toxic substance. The liver immediately shifts into emergency mode, slowing down all other metabolic processes so it can break alcohol down and remove it from the body. This constant interruption places heavy stress on the liver, especially when drinking becomes regular rather than occasional. Over time, the liver begins to store fat as a response to repeated alcohol exposure. This can lead to fatty liver disease, a condition that often produces no noticeable symptoms in its early stages. As drinking continues, inflammation can develop, progressing into alcoholic hepatitis and eventually cirrhosis. Cirrhosis represents permanent scarring of the liver, and once it reaches that stage, full recovery is no longer possible. Many people are shocked by this diagnosis because they never felt seriously ill, highlighting how quietly alcohol-related damage can build. The brain is equally vulnerable to the effects of alcohol. Alcohol interferes with communication between brain cells, slowing reaction time, impairing judgment, and reducing coordination. With long-term use, structural changes can occur, including shrinkage of brain tissue. This can affect memory, learning ability, and emotional regulation. People may notice increased forgetfulness, difficulty focusing, and mood instability, often without connecting these changes to alcohol consumption. Mental health is another area where alcohol causes more harm than relief. While it may temporarily numb emotional pain or anxiety, alcohol is a depressant that ultimately worsens mental health over time. Regular drinking is strongly linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and irritability. The emotional lows that follow drinking episodes often lead to more drinking as a coping mechanism, creating a cycle that becomes difficult to break. Instead of solving stress, alcohol gradually amplifies it. Sleep is one of the most commonly misunderstood effects of alcohol. Many people believe alcohol helps them sleep because it can make them feel drowsy. In reality, alcohol disrupts the natural sleep cycle, particularly deep sleep and REM sleep, which are essential for mental and physical recovery. As a result, sleep becomes fragmented and less restorative.
People wake up feeling tired, foggy, and unrefreshed even after a full night in bed. Poor sleep then affects hormones, appetite, mood, and energy levels, contributing to weight gain, fatigue, and reduced overall health. Over time, this combination of liver stress, brain changes, mental health decline, and poor sleep quietly erodes well-being, even when drinking seems moderate or socially acceptable.
When smoking and drinking are combined, the damage to the body is no longer just additive, it multiplies in ways that are often shocking and silent. Each habit alone stresses the organs, but together they create a perfect storm for long-term health problems. The risk of cancers increases dramatically because alcohol can act as a carrier for harmful chemicals from cigarettes, allowing them to penetrate tissues more easily. This is particularly dangerous for cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, and liver, where the combination of these substances significantly accelerates the development of malignant cells. Even people who smoke lightly but drink regularly, or vice versa, are at far higher risk than someone who only engages in one of these habits. The cardiovascular system also suffers more when smoking and drinking are combined. Nicotine narrows blood vessels and increases blood pressure, while alcohol causes fluctuations in heart rate and interferes with healthy cholesterol balance. Together, they create a situation where arteries are not only stressed, but also more prone to plaque buildup, inflammation, and blockages. This increases the likelihood of heart attacks, strokes, and chronic vascular problems at an earlier age than either habit alone would typically cause. The cumulative effect over months and years is often invisible, making it easy for individuals to underestimate how dangerous their lifestyle has become. The immune system is another critical area affected by the combination. Both smoking and alcohol impair the body's ability to fight infections and recover from illness. Cigarette smoke damages the lungs, reducing the efficiency of white blood cells, while alcohol suppresses immune responses throughout the body. The result is a person who may fall sick more often, take longer to heal, and be more susceptible to serious infections. Minor illnesses that might be easily overcome by a healthy body can become prolonged, complicated, or even life-threatening when the immune system is compromised by these habits. Energy, stamina, and physical performance are also significantly reduced when smoking and drinking occur together. Oxygen delivery to muscles is compromised by smoking, while alcohol interferes with nutrient absorption and muscle recovery. For anyone trying to stay active, lose weight, or build fitness, these habits directly counteract the benefits of exercise and a healthy diet. Fatigue, slower metabolism, and reduced strength and endurance gradually become part of daily life, even without the person realizing exactly why their performance is declining. Finally, chronic inflammation is one of the most insidious effects of combining smoking and alcohol. Both habits trigger inflammatory responses in tissues and organs, and when combined, this inflammation becomes persistent and widespread. Over time, this low-level but constant inflammation contributes to aging, chronic pain, and degenerative diseases. Skin loses elasticity, joints may ache, and internal organs slowly lose their resilience. Emotional and mental health can also decline as fatigue, stress, and mood swings become more pronounced. The cumulative effect is that the body is not only being damaged, but is also less capable of repairing itself, leaving individuals trapped in a cycle of poor health that continues to worsen silently.
Quitting or even reducing smoking and drinking gives the body a remarkable opportunity to repair itself, though many people underestimate just how much healing can occur once these harmful substances are removed. The moment you stop smoking, for instance, your heart rate begins to normalize, and within hours, carbon monoxide levels in the blood start dropping, allowing oxygen to flow more efficiently to tissues and organs. This alone can make a person feel subtly more energetic, less short of breath, and mentally clearer. Within days, the body starts repairing damaged cells, and the tiny hair-like structures in the lungs called cilia, which help keep airways clean, begin to recover. This improves lung function and helps the body fight infections more effectively, making coughing and congestion less frequent over time. Similarly, reducing or stopping alcohol intake allows the liver to shift from constant damage control to actual healing. Fat accumulation begins to decrease, inflammation starts to resolve, and over months, liver function can significantly improve. Blood sugar regulation and metabolic efficiency also benefit, making energy levels more stable throughout the day. Sleep quality, which is often disrupted by alcohol, improves dramatically. People who once struggled to fall asleep or stay asleep notice they wake up feeling more refreshed, alert, and able to concentrate. Better sleep then has a cascading effect on mood, stress management, and overall productivity, allowing both the mind and body to function closer to their natural potential. Quitting these habits also restores cardiovascular health. Blood vessels gradually regain flexibility, blood pressure begins to stabilize, and the risk of heart attack or stroke decreases over time. Circulation improves, delivering more oxygen and nutrients to muscles and organs, which supports physical activity and recovery. For anyone trying to maintain or build fitness, quitting smoking and reducing alcohol consumption directly enhances stamina, endurance, and strength. The body's ability to recover from exercise improves, muscle growth becomes more effective, and fat metabolism functions more efficiently, allowing fitness goals to become easier to achieve than when these substances were part of daily life. Mental clarity and emotional stability are also profoundly impacted. Without the artificial stimulation and depression caused by nicotine and alcohol, the brain gradually recalibrates its chemistry. Anxiety, irritability, and mood swings diminish, while concentration, memory, and decision-making improve. The sense of constant craving or dependency begins to fade, replaced by a feeling of control over one's own body and choices. Confidence grows as people realize they no longer need substances to manage stress, sleep, or social situations, and this newfound empowerment often translates into other areas of life, from work to relationships. Even the visible signs of health improve over time. Skin regains its natural glow as circulation and hydration improve. Wrinkles form more slowly, and overall appearance becomes fresher and more vibrant. Energy levels rise, motivation returns, and activities that once felt exhausting start to feel achievable again. The body becomes more resilient, infections are fought off more efficiently, and chronic inflammation begins to decrease. All of these changes reinforce each other, creating a feedback loop where physical health, mental clarity, and emotional stability continuously improve, showing that quitting or reducing these habits is not just about avoiding future harm, it is about actively reclaiming energy, strength, and life quality in the present.